All right. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I'm Jim Merrill, President of Pacific Accounting and Business Services, PABS for short. The other is too many syllables. PABS is providing accounting services, including complete nonprofit accounting since 2008.
2008. That was a while ago, Jim. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Teresa Daher. I'm the Executive Vice President here at PABS. I've been with the company a little over 6 years and preside over the small, medium, and enterprise level business division, which includes our nonprofit division. And our nonprofit division is managed by Yatin Gajar. He is joining us today from India. Hello, Yatin.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Yatin Gajjar. I'm based in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. I lead a team of 45 nonprofit accountants supporting more than 80 nonprofit across the US. Now, Jim is going to tell us a little about PABS, who we are, where we are, and what we do.
Thanks, Yetin. So PABS supports and really is trusted by more than 6,000 businesses worldwide. Most of those are in the US. That's where we got our true start here. We've supported nonprofit managers and executives in need of solutions for most of that time. As Yetin mentioned, he leads our team of professionals dedicated to just nonprofit. And this map reminds us that we really have offices and clients all over the world. So quite a presence out there.
Yes. Right. So let's take a look at who PAVS is and what we've been doing. It's important to point out, you can see that we are trusted by 450 plus direct clients, meaning direct right to a business, including a nonprofit, with over 5,000 indirect clients all over the globe. It's a lot of businesses we support. We've been doing this for a long time, been doing this for over 17 years. So we have learned how to do it and do it better than anyone. We have over 1,200 professionals in India and across the globe that help us support this organization. As you can see, we've received many awards and achievements throughout the years for our service, and as also a great place to work, which is always a nice thing to say. Of note is our ISO certifications. Those certifications simply mean our management of our data, our security protocols, and how we handle our accounting, the protection of data, and all of our internal processes, both on-site and across our servers, are top drawer and managed and audited by the ISO, and we're very proud of those certifications. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
So we served over 100 nonprofit organizations over the years. Currently, our dedicated team of more than 45 experience nonprofit accounting expert supports this division. This team can be easily scaled by leveraging our extensive pool of 1,200 plus accounting professionals here at PABS.
Right. So that means we can pull from 1,200 staff and staff up immediately for anything you need. And that is a testament to the size of our organization
Yes.
for sure. All right. So before we really get rolling, we want to let everyone here know that you can ask questions during the webinar. You can type it into the chat. We have a moderator monitoring that box. If you see something that interests you or you'd like us to further elaborate on, we're happy to do that. Or we can wait till the end and have a Q&A session based on speed of how this webinar is going. So please do not be bashful. We would love to hear your comments and questions. All
All
right.
right, enough about us. Let's talk about you folks, our audience, for a while here. Um, let's test that chat box, and if any of these four items apply to you, please type yes into chat and send it our way. We'll give you a few moments to do so. Questions is your board satisfied with your reporting? Are you able to submit your board package on time and in the required format? Do you have reporting that tracks the grants, restricted funds, non-restricted funds, and so on? Are you able to track actuals, financials, and compare them against the budget? These are all so important in your
Yeah.
world. And so, all right, I'm going to assume we've gotten a
Yes.
few replies. Teresa, anything to share before we move on?
Number three, do you have reporting that tracks restricted and non-restricted funds is showing up? So we get that a lot. And these questions, we have to tell you, were developed. We asked Yetin's team, who actually manage all of the client work, to come up with, tell us the four things that you really come across as the problems that we need to solve most often. And that is where these questions were developed from our client work. So thank you, Yatin, and your team for these. Let's begin to address them.
So
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Teresa.
All right,
So
what are we going to
with an
cover
eye
today,
on
Jim?
management, I'm sorry. Well, what was that, Teresa?
What are we going to cover today, Jim?
Oh, okay. With an eye on management insight into your organization. That's what really why we're here, what we help with. We'll be focusing today on reporting, cash flow reports, forecasting, management reports, board packets, dashboards, and more. Teresa?
Yeah, the true goal today is going to be to present this reporting strategy so that you can influence the trajectory of your internal operation. You get this stuff right, your mission is built upon solid forecasting. You can't really execute on what you're trying to do if you don't know where you were, where you are, or where you're going. And reporting is everything to make that happen. All right. Step one.
Most
We love to talk
Step
about this,
one,
huh,
that's
Jim?
right.
People come to
The
us
most
and they want step three, right? They say, "Oh, we want step three," which we're going to get into.
often,
We
yes,
always have
yes,
to
that's
tell them,
true.
"No, step one, step
Give
one."
me
All
my
right, Jim, walk them.
dashboards. No. Yeah, obviously for everybody here, the most important and really most basic of nonprofit reporting is still the clear financial statements. Uh, in order to do anything else, these must be both clear and reliable and on time. And that's where a big part of our focus is. Yet, why don't you share a little bit here?
yes. So these are the reports are the we can say that the standard reports that nonprofit organization are looking for. From our experience, we can say that most of the nonprofit organizations are struggling to get even the basic standard reports as well, like budget
Mhm.
versus actual. So they are not getting the proper information on budget versus actual, and they start struggling that where they are compared to their budget. Statement of activities, which shows the surplus and deficit, and they are not clear on that. So these are the very important reports on the standard reporting side.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Standard. Standard means, the basics. Don't want to undercut what this means. I mean, to get this right takes some time, takes some organization, probably a little bit of redo and restate and some operational design on how data is categorized and entered. So to get this right is the foundation. These are the bricks to get into more exciting and interesting reporting. Again, as Jim and I always joke about, people come to us wanting step three. We're going to walk you through how to get there. All right. Step two. I like to
Yes,
call this frosting on the cake, right? Step one's the cake. Now we're going to put a little frosting on the cake. So
absolutely.
a lot of times, all that reporting that you need that we just showed you, you also need in a multi-dimensional format. You need it by fund. You need it by program. You need it by department. You need it by state. You need it by leader. There's 1,000 different ways. Every single client is quite customized. So the budget versus actual reporting, statement of activities, all of your graphs, your dashboards, that monthly executive reporting package, which is so important. This is a customized design. What does your organization need? Yatin can get into some specifics that he has built, I don't know, nearly 100 of these, I believe, if my numbers are right. Tell us, Yatin, some of the customized reporting that you've put together with your team.
Absolutely. So monthly executive report, I would like to talk about that. This is specifically be designed for the executive directors and the CFO. They want to take some strategic decisions based on the data they have ready. So this report contains the information like the summary of the financial report. They can see the snapshot that what is going on with their financials. After that, they have some of the graphical presentations where they can see the some of the important ratios like program expense ratio, debt service
Mhm.
coverage ratios. They can see the trend analysis of the any of the expenses they want to track and all the other required information which is very helpful for them to take a strategic decision. So this all information will be readily available in one report for them. So this is what we have developed. And apart from that, I heard from many of my clients that they are not able to see the program wise report, fund wise report. They are not able to track it. Statement of activities by program is very important for the program manager as well, because they only come to know about the success of the program, that how the program is
Mhm.
performed, how they generated revenue, how much revenue generated, how much expenses are done. So they have done good with that particular program or not. So all this information is really a matter a lot for the further decision making for the nonprofit organizations. And believe me, we have resolved this for many of our client, and they are quite happy right now with that.
That is terrific to hear. I know I get a lot of positive client feedback around exactly what you're talking about, being able to see all of the financial information by program because that's the where they're managing. So,
Right.
excellent. Thank you. Jim, you have anything to add here?
Yeah, so actually ready to move on here. We talked about step one, the basics, the basic financials. We've talked about step two, really ensuring you've got that multi-dimensional information, fund, program, department, etc. That's all data, and
Right.
those are great reports, and you can't do anything without them. But the decorations on top of the frosting, the pretty
There we
pictures,
go. The
the great
sprinkles. The
information
sprinkles.
is now coming from step three. And remember, can't do step three until you get one and two. So let's move though now into step three.
All right. So in the past
Having
few slides,
having
oh, you
um
go
having
ahead,
great
Jim.
data
I'm
is
sorry.
terrific, but expecting your board to read and digest a spreadsheet full of numbers is just impractical. Dashboards, charts, focused management reports. These are things simply designed to make it easier for management and board to review all of the cash and operational conditions of the organization. So we help our clients build those, or we build those for our clients, really. Once those reporting tools are built, you and your teams can have consistent reviews, and most importantly, effective decision making that can becomes fast and easy for the leaders in your organization. Teresa, now your turn.
Absolutely. Yep. So putting those sprinkles on the cake that has now has frosting, now you've got a whole situation, whole dessert going. But we want to, before we show you those reports, we want to talk about a lot of the different challenges that come to us that help us to then architect not only how we're going to structure step one, the basic reporting, but how we're going to create step two, the customized reporting, and then be able to make sure that we have KPIs and dashboards and graphs and charts that answer all of those questions. They generally fall into these three categories. So, number one, we've kind of covered financial reporting complexity. If you can get all the data into your system, categorized by the third and the fourth dimension there, by grant, by project, by fund, etc. All of that data is available. You are going to be able to extract it appropriately and report appropriately. So it's incredibly important that at the financial reporting level, we understand what are the KPIs? What sort of information are you going to want to track and report on? Has to be done here. That is also key for cash management. For anyone who signed up for our last webinar, we dug deep into the cash management reporting process, structure, design, output, all the KPIs and dashboards. And you can find that webinar on our website if you're interested in learning a lot more about cash management. That's been covered. As for restricted funds and non-restricted funds account management, that is a whole nother webinar. I'm sure we will probably do that on the next one, right, Yatin? Is that your next plan? But for
Absolutely, I
now,
think, yeah.
Go
It
ahead.
is very important aspect that for the nonprofit organizations, restricted funds tracking is very important. Even from the compliance perspective, IRS is definitely look for that. If you have not tracked it perfectly or properly, and you are not able to justify the restricted funds usage, then it can put into the danger the nonprofit organization status as well.
That's right, everything. So at this first level, when we're designing the financial reporting, that is very, very important and very key to do. So that is step one. We know we need to make this right. The other area of problems that come to us, audit readiness. Tell us some stories, Yatin.
Yeah. So, for the preparing for the audit, for the nonprofit organizations, from our experience, we came to know that they are definitely a lot of struggle at the year end when they have audit in place. So, when we most hear from our client that we don't have a time because we are going through the audit, we have to provide a lot of information to the auditors in required format, and they don't have everything is ready. So, what we have developed internally that we do provide a audit package that provide the financials in a specific format that definitely help the auditor to have all the information in one sheet, and they get all the reconciliations, all the general ledgers, work papers, that all those details will be in a one spreadsheet they will have. So that helps a lot auditors to have all the informations available with them in a required and specific structured format that helps them to scrutinize the financials very well. Dealing with the fail audits, a couple of months, I remember one of our client we have onboarded when we have seen the audit comments for that particular client, and they said that the accounting is done is not proper, they have not done the right accounting. They mention a lot of about their comments on their payroll side and other areas. So when we have started, we have looked all those comments, and believe me, we have done the detailed analysis, scrutiny for all the aspects they have mentioned and found a lot of mistakes. We have corrected it, and now everything is ready to go. Client is very happy with that. The board is very happy with that. They have covered up all those comments in a positive manner, and right now the reports are very good. So support audit. So we also provide the supporting to the audit at the during the audit period. So it happens many a time that a finance director and executive director are very busy, and their auditor keep asking for the report. Okay, this report, that report. So they are very busy for that. So we do provide support that we provide all the required reports to the auditors from the accounting system, and they can just focus on their job that requires to do. So all those audit readiness they really helped a lot to our client, and they appreciated a lot all those support.
Yes, so if you're an executive director or a director of finance or a staff accountant role in your organization, I think you probably really understood what Yatin was speaking about in that audit season. It is so time consuming to pull all of that together. But if you have your reporting already, step one done, and all the reporting is there, it is, and people around to help pull that reporting, you're going to have audit readiness, audit preparedness, and audit success year after year. So really important. Now, as for the financial management,
Yes.
with all of that information, this is where it happens. This is where every month you're working to create what you need to manage your entire operation. So Yatin's going to walk us through some of the detailed reporting that is necessary just to manage the financials.
Right, absolutely. So revenue recognition for the nonprofit organization, it is very important. We will go with the fund accounting concept because they receive the grant and does not require that has to be spent in a 1 year span. It can be go over there as well, depend on the conditions and requirements of that particular grant. So
Mhm.
revenue recognition and reconciliation is again, we have heard a lot from our client that they are struggling with that. So we have developed internal template that helps a lot to the client to track all the grant, how much they received, how much they are going to receive in future, and what are the balances. We will definitely go through in detail in upcoming slides in that. Coding expenses correctly looks very small, but is very important. If you want to generate a correct report, then coding is very important. If you want to generate a report by project, right? And if you have not coded all the transactions and allocated the project to that transactions, you will not able to generate a report. So we have heard from many of our clients that they are not able to see that by grant or by project report, and the root cause is same, like they have not done the coding correctly. So we fix from there, and then they can see the reports. Trackers and detailed reporting. So we have developed some of the many trackers like restricted fund tracking and all those trackers. These are very helpful for the client. Uh, Many of the nonprofit organizations at the strategic level, they look at the ratios where they can take decisions on that. Like a debt service coverage ratio is very useful for the banks and outside organization who lends money to the nonprofit organization. They definitely look this kind of ratio and see that how much financially stable the nonprofit organization is to provide more money to them. Current ratios, program expense ratio is one of the very important ratio for the nonprofit organization's perspective. This ratio tells that how much funding they are using for that program. And when they go for the funders to get the fund, they definitely look for this ratio because this is the core job of the nonprofit organizations to spend money towards their mission. And this is what exactly it is tracking about. And last but not least, very important is board package. So this is a very common challenge that we have heard from the many of our clients that they are not able to produce a board package on time, correct, and in a required format. So they struggle definitely over there. So this is where we have helped a lot to our nonprofit clients. We plan in advance. We see that in which required format they need board package, and we provide that all the informations beforehand so they prepare it well in advance for the board meeting. And that is very important. So we have provided all these solutions to our existing clients and the onboarded client, and they are quite happy with that.
So if you have these accounting challenges that we talked about at the beginning of the webinar, which most nonprofits do, this is a lot of work and a lot of detail that needs to happen, and most nonprofits generally lack the budgets to hire the number of people and the level of people necessary to create all of this. So what we've developed here, what Yatin and his team have developed, is a system and a process to help you do this. We work with you, we support you on it, and we can make all of this be the wind beneath your wings. That last one, prepare for board meetings, I think that bullet should be larger. I think we should actually turn it red, guys. Next time, let's turn it red. It's the most important part. If you can't report to your board what's happening, not going to last very long, that's for sure. So this is the list, this is the page of everything that we have seen in our process, in our 16 years of doing this, that needs to be solved. Now we're going to take a look at some of the fun reports that have been designed that we've talked about to solve them. Let's see if I can get it to click. There we go. Okay. Yep. Okay, so this particular slide, this is a list of some of the general nonprofit reporting graphs that we like to put together. Yatin covered a few of them. They are small. We're going to show some larger versions of them later. But like Jim says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. To ask your board or your donors to read complex spreadsheets is unrealistic. They want to see this, and they want to see this over time, and they want to see it at a glance. So we work very hard to create the data and the reporting that is necessary, and then turn it into a picture, which is worth 1,000 words. Okay, let's get into it. Grant tracker, yet, and one of your favorites. Yep. Go, go, go.
Yes. So this is the template that we have developed internally. This is just an example that we have put over here. So here you can see as I mentioned earlier, many of the nonprofit comes with us and they say that we are not able to track our grants, that we know that we have received money, but where we have spent those money, because it is required for you as a nonprofit organization to track the where you have spent the money received from the grant. So we have built up this tracker where you can see the grant one, grant two, grant three, and for which period you receive this grant. So you have track of that. Then the grant requested and the grant invoice raised. So many of the grant you need to raise the invoices and then you get the money from the state or federal. Amount received once you received it and how much you have utilized it. So you have a tracking of entire chain where you can see from the receipt and utilized and how much you should receive as a grant. So this is just a snapshot of the one sheet, but in different shades, we have provided all the details that where it is utilized. You can track everything, like where you have spent those amount received from the grant side, how much is the pending to receive. So all this information will be trackable in this tracker. So this is really helpful and help a lot to many of our clients to resolve this issue, and they are able to track the grant now very efficiently.
Beautiful.
This is one of the very important report from the nonprofit perspective, the budget versus actual. So every nonprofit have their budget approved by board for the fiscal year, and they would like to track the actual spend, actual financials against that. So here we have built up a report where you can see that the statement of activities budget versus actual, where you will see the YTD actuals, year to date, actual numbers are there against the budget. And it shows that over and under budget. So how much overspend is there? How much is under budget? So you can decide on that basis how much you are going to spend for the rest of the period for the fiscal year. And the last column, it shows the percentage utilization of the budget. This is very important, where you will get the idea that how much percentage you have spent from the budget for this particular expense and how much is spending. So if we take the example of the supplies over here, the supplies 33.5% you have done the spend in this case in the span of 6 months. So it's a very good. That's why it is in green. And it says that, okay, you have the enough budget available for the next 6 months. But if it is more than 50%, 60%, then you have to cut down the expenses for the next 6 months. So this is a very important tool in terms of the taking the decisions for the upcoming period, that what should be the spend. Apart from that, in income side also, it happens that sometimes you have budgeted the any of the grant you are going to receive as a nonprofit organization, but you have not received it. That definitely turns out the your bottom line in different manner. It can go from the surplus to deficit as well. So this report tells everything about that, that why you are not in line with your budget and what will be the next course of action.
And yet, and based on how data is entered, again, going back to that step one, how you
Absolutely.
create the data, this can be as complex and detailed or as summary level. This is a summary level for income. If it's all been entered in detail, you can expand it out and know exactly where the income didn't come in and maybe where income exceeded expectations, etc. So think of
Yes.
this as expandable and collapsible based on that plan you make in step one as to how you're going to enter all of your complex, detailed transactions. This is the goal.
Yes, absolutely. You can track everything in detail in these reports.
Yep.
Now then,
All
next
right.
is we have revenue and expenditure trend. So when we normally do the financials, month-end financials to provide to client, we usually provide this kind of graphs as well. That's really help for the finance director, executive director to see the quick glance of the trend analysis for the particular expense, revenue, that how it is going. We do provide like the drop down where you can select the general ledger or the particular expense which you want to see as a trend for the last 6 months or last 12 months. So you will have the idea where the trend is going on for that particular expense. This is very helpful in terms of the up and down you see any of the month. If the expense is too high, then you can drill down more and see that why it is too high. If it is too low, then also you can drill down and see that the reasons behind that. Same goes with the income as well. So this report is really helpful in terms of the like executive director and the finance director when they have the quick glance over any of the expense done. So this is really helpful, and we have done it for the or many of the client, and they find it very really helpful for them.
That's right. Picture's worth 1,000 words. There's a lot of people who don't
Absolutely.
want to read a spreadsheet. Unlike us, we love them, but many people don't.
All
Okay,
right.
Jim, tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
we've
You had some
covered today.
great information. Thank you, Ed, and that was good stuff. So let's start wrapping up now. We've covered a lot in a short time. If you have any questions, please share them in the chat tool. We'll do our best to either answer them now or invite a conversation. If you want to share how to contact you, or I think Teresa has that already, let us know that you want to be contacted, and we will. Yeah, let's start wrapping up here. If we move into the next slide, so we offer specialized expertise at PABS, scalable capacity. Teresa mentioned earlier the ability with our numerous professionals, the ability we often call it swarming. You got a big problem, we can send in a team, get that investigated and wrapped up quickly. Also, as your organization grows or contracts, we can grow and contract that team with you. We generally provide up to 50% cost savings. When you look at the cost of an internal staff, because of the way we're structured, our cost is usually about half the cost of having an internal staff. And then zero disruption. Last I'll talk about, we integrate seamlessly with your existing systems. We're software agnostic. I think Teresa mentioned we work with any and all systems that come our way. We've got competence to be able to manage those systems and integrate and build the right workflow and correct processes. So a lot PABS can do for you. Teresa?
Just going to add redundancy. So redundancy, I'm sure everybody here that we're talking to understands the revolving door in the finance department, right? It's a situation. A lot of times nonprofits actually do it by design. They have different outgoing and incoming boards, like junior leagues. They are in charge for 1 or 2 years, and it's constantly revolving. That's disruptive. So
Yep.
by putting a finance support team in place, you have some stability. And a lot of what we talked about today was stability. This is about mitigating risk. This is about creating stability in your finance function so that the executive directors and the program managers and the people who are there to execute on a mission don't have to worry about that. We build that redundancy in. So there is no disruption in that particular function. It's a big deal, and it helps you guys do what you need to do. And that's why we're growing so fast, because we're good at this, and it does make a difference in your organizations. All right. So let's create some stability in your nonprofit. We're available here to help you master your reporting, to strengthen your mission, which is the goal here. You're welcome to contact me anytime you'd like. I'm on Pacific Standard Time. Jim's over in Hawaii. He's also available anytime you need. Yatin manages everything for us in India. He is the genius, the man behind the curtain, if you will, except he's not behind the curtain. You can talk to him anytime you want. So please contact us and let us know how we can help. We'd like to be part of the success story for your mission, and very much look forward to meeting each and every one of you. If you have any questions, again, please type them in the chat or contact us later. That concludes this portion of the webinar. Looks like I have a couple of, thumbs up. Never saw those before. Nice. Okay. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
and
you.
good night.
Thank you.